Hey guys, this is a full tutorial going over 14 different flow automations for your e-commerce store. This is going to be a huge video, especially if you're just setting up your Klaviyo account. It's going to be great to refer back to because we're going to be showing you exactly how to build out each and every flow, some examples, actually annotated email examples for each, and some of our key strategies to make sure you're actually maximizing each flow to its full potential. So without further ado, let's get straight into it because we've got a ton to get through. Of course, there's going to be timestamps at the bottom of this video if you're watching this on YouTube. We can just skip through and go through the exact flow that you want to learn how to build out. So let's get straight into it. If you don't know me, my name's Kieran. I'm the founder of Compound Flows. We're a marketing agency, but we actually specialize in just email marketing. It's kind of like our bread and butter. And we have worked with over 20 e-commerce brands so far. As you can see here, Warrior, Heavy Glare, B2B Los Angeles, just to name a few. And here's some of our results. I'm not going to bore you too much with it, but we've managed to add around 39K to a brand's monthly recurring revenue in less than 60 days, and another one, 13,000 Canadian in less than 30 days. And of course, you can find me on all platforms, X, LinkedIn, and of course, YouTube right here. Moving on, is this doc actually going to be worth your time? Again, this is for you if you're setting up a new Klaviyo account and you're not sure how to build out the flows, or maybe you're a bit further along. You have some flows set up. Maybe they're just from the Klaviyo template section, but you want to know like the best strategies, the best things to do in each flow. We're going to be covering all of that. And of course, you want to see some real life examples of the best performing flow structures and the best performing email designs. Now, you're also going to be able to find all 14 flow structures and this document that I'm going through in this video below in the video description if you're watching this on YouTube. So let's keep going. Before we get started, big offer if you are an e-commerce brand doing over 50K per month. I think you want to be sticking around to the end of the video, or you can just skip there if you're a bit impatient, but there is a big offer for you guys at the end of this video that I think you'll be interested in. So, bit of an overview just to get started. What flows will we actually be covering in this video? Of course, we're going to be going over the welcome series, then all of the abandonment flows, the site abandonment, browse abandonment, abandoned cart, abandoned checkout. I've got a few different versions. That is dependent on what type of store you're running and what kind of products you're selling. We're also going to be covering some of the retention flows, so the post-purchase flow, customer win-back, replenishment reminder flow, VIP, birthday flow, first customer anniversary flow, and some of the utility flows like review posted, review requested, and of course this sunset unengaged flow. Moving on, this is like the email marketing funnel zoomed out. I do actually have another video on this just so you can see where all of these flow automations actually fit into your entire ecosystem, your entire backend retention system, and how they all work in conjunction with each other. I really recommend watching this video if you want to learn a bit more about this. But for this video in particular, we're just going to be going through every single flow, how to build them, some examples, and more specifics. But if you want to see a big overview, really recommend watching this video afterwards. So, to get started, what are flow automations? If you don't already know, especially if you're just coming over to Klaviyo, but they're basically just email automations that will send to your recipients after they take a certain action. So it can look a bit more like this. This is a really lengthy built out one. But with every flow, they start off with a trigger, which is again, what action the customer takes for the flow to actually trigger and send. For this example, this is when someone adds something to cart. Moving on, this is the flow filters. So every trigger, every flow has a flow filter where you can actually segment people down even further based on, again, what metrics they have added to their profile, what other actions they've taken. So for this example, when someone is added to a newsletter for a welcome flow, if they have placed an order since joining, they'll be kicked out of this flow, or if they've gone and clicked the checkout button with checkout started, they'll be also kicked out of this flow as well. So that's something to keep in mind, and further customize each flow, because obviously, you don't want people keep receiving the welcome flow, and keep receiving these emails saying, hey, please use your 10% off. Hey, you're forgetting your 10% off, when they've already gone and used it and they've already gone and placed an order. So flow filters is super important to get right. And again, in this video, we're going to be covering all of that, all the triggers, all the flow filters, and all the above. Moving on, why do you actually need flow automations? They're basically like the foundation of your backend retention system, and they should automate on average around 20% of your total store revenue. So again, if you don't have these set up right now, big low-hanging fruit that I would highly recommend going through this video and building them out yourself. Triggered by specific customer actions, they convert really highly compared to your normal campaigns, because they're very intent based. We're seeing them at a specific time after people make a specific action, and that's why they're so relevant to the customer and highly personalized. Now, they do more than just boost sales and revenue. They also build up relationships with your customer. That brand to customer relationship increases overall engagement, promotes customer retention and reorder rate. Again, we're targeting people after they make specific actions or haven't done something in said time. And of course, more emails, more touch points strengthens your overall brand awareness. Bit of a disclaimer here. While it is a bit of a setup and forget type deal, once you start scaling and start having more volume to your e-commerce store, small optimizations, small tweaks start to matter a lot. So let's say you're over 100K per month right now. That's typically a lot of volume coming through these flow automations or a lot of people on your email list. And small optimizations, small tweaks is really important to get right. And in this video, again, we're going to be covering a lot of that stuff to make sure you aren't making some mistakes and actually start A/B testing some of the most important core flows. Okay, so what flows do you actually need? Now, I wouldn't recommend every and single flow right off the bat, especially if you're a smaller store, around 30K per month. I would only recommend the core flows that are going to be generating the majority of your revenue. And as you scale, you can start adding the more nice to have flows. So the more things like first purchase anniversary or your birthday flow, things like that. But if you just look at the very core flows that you always want to have in place, it's definitely the welcome flow. It's definitely the abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, and then more so like the abandoned browse, post-purchase, that type of thing. This is just a rough graph that I made up. You don't have to stick to this super strictly. This is what I would recommend, depending on how much revenue, how much volume of traffic you're actually pushing through your e-commerce store each month. So some metrics to shoot for. Generally, you want to have a 50-50 split between your campaigns and your flows. Again, this isn't going to be super perfect all the time, but just as a baseline, that's where you want to be targeting. Open rates, again, same as your campaign emails, you want a good, healthy 40 to 50% open rate. However, your click rate and place order rate, again, it's heavily dependent on which email and which flow you're looking at, because something like the first welcome email where people are opting in and receiving that first welcome email, that's going to have some crazy numbers, some really high click rates and some really high place order rates compared to something like your 10th welcome flow email, where people typically drop off because more people are buying, and it leaves more of the inactive recipients to receive those emails, and typically by nature those metrics do drop off a bit, but it's always good to have just in case, just to follow up with those customers. More in just a second. Now, another thing just to remember is your flow revenue is directly going to be correlated to how much traffic you're actually pushing through these flows in the first place. It really is just a bit of a numbers game, and some people get confused about that and kind of wonder like, why aren't these flows working? That's typically the reason. It's typically just a volume problem. Okay, now let's start on the first flow, which is the welcome flow. This is before anyone really purchases. So what is the actual purpose of the welcome flow? Well, it really is just to convert those first time customers into first-time buyers, and using some type of incentive, like usually a basic one is a 10% off code when they sign up, and keep pushing that within the welcome flow to actually get people to make their first purchase. What you want to do here is really build up some rapport in potential customers, showcase a lot of social proof, build credibility, and of course, increase touch points for the rule of 7. So if you're not familiar, typically on average, there's a theory that people need to see your brand at least 7 times before coming to a purchasing decision. And this welcome flow is a super cheap way, or at least compared to retargeting ads, to actually get your brand in those potential customers' face, people who are just on the fence about buying from you. This is a really good flow to set up. So just starting at the flow structure here, your flow filters really needs to be just placed order 0 times since starting this flow. I mean, if they do place an order while they're in this flow, they'll be kicked out and they won't be needed in this flow anymore. Trigger needs to be joins newsletter because this is directly tied to your pop-up. I do have another video on how to set up a really good pop-up if you want to know how to do that. But in this video, I'm just focusing on the flows. First email, you really want to be welcoming in new customers, giving a really short brand intro. But the most important thing is actually giving out that welcome code, giving out that discount code for people to find the email, open up the email, and go straight back to the website and make a purchase. Make it super frictionless as possible. You don't want to be hiding the button or the code anywhere in your email. You want it right there up the top, nice and easy to see. There is a little trick here you can do if the customer doesn't open up this first email in the first 24 hours. You can simply just resend it with a different subject line, because usually this is the most profitable email in your entire Klaviyo system. So just resending it isn't really going to hurt anyone. They're probably not even going to notice if they haven't opened it after a full day. But moving on, your second email, we like to do like a plain text email from the founder. Again, just a little second welcome in, a little subtle personal touch. Just from the founder, again, building that brand to customer relationship. Third email, we go over the brand story and any unique selling propositions, what makes your brand different, and how you've come up from behind the scenes. Then we go in and showcase some of your best social proof, testimonials, customer stories. Then you want to go over like best selling products. So that's a pretty basic one, just your best sellers. Try to guide them towards a specific purchase as well. And you want to go over some 24-hour incentive expiry reminders. So just giving the customers heads up like, hey, you only have 24 hours left. Better use this discount code. And then you can also do like a last ditch effort. Again, plain text email from the founder. Just reminding them like, hey, this is your really, really last chance, 4 hours before it expires. And that usually gets a few people over the line. Some key strategies here before we get into examples. In every email, you'll be showing off that discount code, just reminding them in every email, just so when they do feel like they're ready to make a purchasing decision, it's right there, ready to go, nice and easy to remember. Another point is just educating customers on everything your brand/product has to offer. So by no means, if there's something super unique in your brand or super unique in your products and you want to go in more detail, for sure, just add a few more emails in here. This is really just a base structure template to follow. Again, with especially the first welcome email, what you want to be doing is creating really strong hero images with a call to action button above the fold of the email. So if you're not familiar with that, that's the button at the top of the email. So when people do open the email for the first time, they don't have to scroll down to find the button or the code or the actual offer of the email. They can just see that straight away as soon as they open up the email in a fraction of a second, and they can just click back to the website as fast as possible, as frictionless as possible. And another little trick you can do here is if you have like a campaign that's kind of like evergreen and it can be used anywhere, why not just add it into the welcome flow, especially if it's a campaign that's really performed highly. You can put that into the welcome flow so new customers can see that. And another key strategy that I haven't actually added here is with the discount code in particular. We actually like to make it a static one directly from Shopify. Reasoning for that is that you want to make it super simple and easy to remember compared to like a unique custom coupon code you can create inside of Klaviyo, which is like a bunch of random letters and numbers. Something like that is super hard to remember for the customer. If you just want to do it straight out of Shopify, I've seen this increase results, like the difference is night and day. Just using something super simple to remember, something like welcome 10, super basic one, but something simple like that really does do magic instead of using like a confusing, hard to remember, unique coupon code. Moving on, here is some good examples, all annotated. So this would be for the first welcome email. You can see here we've got a very clear header here, welcome in. The button and the code's all above the fold of the email. So again, people can just open that, say, yep, welcome in, shop now, and then they see the code, straight back to the website. If they want a bit more context, they can scroll down. We give them a short intro. On that second scroll, make sure to have another button there. And then a really neat collection page where if they want to go to somewhere specific, we actually give them that option too down here at the bottom, the 4 different main collections. Here's some more examples I found just online. Dr. Squatch, really popular one. You should really model your emails after. Really great brand. And Fulton. Again, nice clear header, short, concise copy as well. And for this brand on the left here, they actually go over a few main points on why the product is different, why it works so well. The only really thing I'll change here on this email is just putting a button at the very bottom. So if customers were to scroll all the way down to the bottom, they have somewhere to click. With the Dr. Squatch email, really great clear header up the top and presenting the offer straight away with the code and their button. And yeah, really great stuff here. Moving on to the abandonment flows. Just a small overview here, why these are so important to have. You're basically making a fail-proof system for every step of the funnel. And just to show you that if someone was to land on your website and not take any action at all, it's very easy for them just to leave and not get any follow-up reminders. That's where your abandoned site flow comes in. We can actually target those customers if they're already cookied in and actually subscribe to our email list. We can send a small little nudge reminder email here. Now let's just say they actually came onto your website and clicked on a few items and then left, got distracted, whatever happened. Then you would send the actual browse abandonment flow to actually follow up with those customers. Same thing if they added something to cart or click the checkout button. And of course you have the post-purchase flow if they actually went ahead and purchased the product. But we're not going to cover that just now. But you can clearly see here that like with every step of the process, no matter what action they take, as soon as they land on that website, they're going to be receiving an email from us just following up on whatever action they decide to make. Moving on, the site abandonment flow. So the purpose of this, we're just encouraging customers to come back and take a second look, and we're just trying to spark their interest towards a specific collection or whatever they may be interested in. Because this flow is really, it could be sent to pretty much anyone that lands on the website. You really want to dial in your flow filters here. So really use this guideline here. We want to be skipping anyone that continues anywhere down that sales funnel. So if they've clicked on a product, placed an order, added something to cart, that's going to be triggering the other flows, and you don't want these emails to be overlapping. And just make sure that this email is really just going to be sent to those customers that just land on the website, don't do anything else, and then leave for whatever reason. And because it's such a small action, we only want to give them one email here. Some key strategies. You want to angle it as kind of like a helping hand, like, hey, we just saw, again, you don't want to be creepy or intrusive, but you'd be like, hey, having any problems picking out what you like? Here's a few collections. Here's a bit of a collection guide that you can look through. So a good example on this is this brand right here. They had two main collections, the cycling gear and then the mountain biking gear. So we simply asked, like, can't decide, let us help. Do you prefer cycling on the roads or riding through the hills? And just gave them those two big options to choose from. Super clear, super easy to click on. And of course, if they're still not interested in that, just give that last ditch option so they can shop at the accessories. Okay, so the browse abandonment flow. This is when we're entering into some more of your core flows that you really want to be setting up no matter what stage you're at. But the purpose of this flow is to guide customers back to take another look and continue them down the sales funnel. Now, you want to acknowledge the fact that they were taking interest in a specific item. And with Klaviyo, you can set up dynamic blocks so you can actually show the product that they were looking at and that they did click on. And especially if you're like a one product store, you want to be relaying over some specific points about your product, just relaying some of the benefits, features, and solutions that helps the customer have some positive outcomes on the customer. Now, you can use a discount here, or you can create some fake scarcity that the product is selling out. I'm going to showing you both here. But again, here's the flow filters. It's when someone viewed a product. First email is a bit of a nudge email. We just want to encourage customers that what they picked out was good. It was good choice, and they should come back and have another look. Reminder email about 2 days later. You want to start showcasing us off some actual social proof, testimonial reviews. Now here's what you can do. You can actually split people up depending on what collection, or if you're a smaller store with smaller amount of SKUs, you can actually split customers up based on what product they actually viewed. And then you can actually go over some specific benefits and features that that product or that collection has that they may be interested in. And just continuing down, after those like first 2 or 3 emails, that's when you kind of want to introduce like a code. Again, maybe showcase some other products to spark their interest in another collection. And again, just a plain text email from the founder, just following up whenever you give out a discount code. Ultimate version that you can try, that if you are a bit tight on the discount codes, you don't want to be reducing that margin too much. What I have tried and tested and actually works pretty well is giving out like a plain text email from the founder, just giving them a heads up that their item is actually low on stock and it's expected to clear out in the next week or 2. And then give like a suitable time delay there and send an email that's a bit more designed as an official low stock email. Show that product that they originally viewed. Or just say that's, hey, it's running out in the next 24 hours or something like that. I have seen this work pretty well. That is a bit of an alternate version that you can do that uses 0 discounts. But obviously with fake scarcity, you gotta be super careful. I wouldn't recommend this all the time. But if you do want to use or do something that doesn't require a discount code, that is something you can do. Some key strategies here. Plain text email from the founder wanting that their item is selling out. Again, adds a bit more of a personal touch, and just make the copy and design relevant to the customer's item, especially after this conditional split up here when we're splitting depending on product or collection. And moving on, again, you just want to make it fun, engaging, just promoting them to click back and have another look. Here's a good email design. Hey, something caught your eye. Call them out a bit, just like in a fun way like that. If you were going to offer out a discount code, again, you want to be putting it at the top of the email. And again, here is where you showcase some of your other products that again can spark some interest and get them back to the website. Always on every email, you want to be putting your collections, shop by collection buttons down the bottom. Here's some more examples. Here's actually a text-based example about that low stock alert. email I was just talking about. So we just say, hey, how you going? It's Dan from whatever company. The team and I saw you were checking out this product. You seem super keen on it, so I just wanted to give you the heads up that they're currently low on stock. There's only about 80 left, and we're on track to be sold out in the next 2 days. Get back to it here if you want to secure it for yourself. So that's kind of what a good example of what I was talking about earlier. And here is another example of a browser abandonment flow email. Like, hey, you picked out something good. This usually takes long to restock. So that's another angle you can use here. So if you're keen on it, buy it before someone else does. And that is a browser abandonment flow. Now moving on, the abandoned checkout / abandoned cart flow. This is the version 1. Now the reason I've put checkout / cart flow here is because you can actually duplicate these flows to make it the exact same. The only difference is having the triggers different. So if you're not already aware, the abandoned checkout and the abandoned cart is 2 different flows. Klaviyo does confuse you by adding in their template section the abandoned cart when really it's the abandoned checkout. And you can actually go in and tell if you've already got this set up right now. If your trigger is checkout started, that's an abandoned checkout flow. But if your trigger is added to cart, that means you're good. You got an abandoned cart flow as well. After this little tutorial, or after these 2 cards, I'm going to show you how to actually create and fix up that mistake, and just show you how to actually make sure you have those 2 different flows in place. But for this version 1 of this abandoned checkout flow, again, we've got 2 different versions. This is a really good version for stores if you have that banner up the top of your website saying, hey, if you got X dollar amount in your cart, you get free shipping. That's a really common thing I'm seeing. And this version of the flow structure is what I would recommend for stores like that. So the purpose, just going over the purpose of the abandoned cart, abandoned checkout, obviously to recoup lost sales that people are just off the edge from buying. They've already added something to the cart. They're clearly interested, but they've obviously just stopped for whatever reason. Maybe they got distracted, or maybe have some objections on the shipping times or price even. And that's where, again, we want to handle any and all objections in this flow and offer out any extra incentives like discounts, free shipping. So this is the flow structure. Like I said, the abandoned cart and abandoned checkout are 2 different flows. The only difference is, because we usually just duplicate them, is the trigger and the flow filters. So with the abandoned cart flow filters, what you want to do is actually make sure you have the started checkout 0 times since starting this flow. That's going to prevent you from sending double emails from people who add something to cart and then leave, versus when someone adds something to cart and then clicks the checkout button. You want to have these exact flow filters in place to make sure you're not sending double emails. Of course, with the abandoned cart, that's when someone adds something to cart, and the abandoned checkout, it was when someone actually clicks the checkout button or checkout started inside of Klaviyo. Usually a 30-minute delay is all around the best delay to have. I am going to show you later just how to set up A/B tests to actually test different time delays. But generally 30 minutes, it really works really well. Now for this flow in particular, for version 1 of the abandoned checkout / cart, what we do here is, because you have that banner up the top of your email or the top of your website saying, hey, over $50 you get free shipping. What you can do is segment customers based on the dollar amount of their cart, and actually notify customers that, if they have over $50 worth of items in their cart, you can actually notify them for free shipping, whereas you wouldn't for anyone that's below that dollar amount. And yeah, as you can see here, we've got 2 different pathways here. In this email side, we want to be putting that offer out saying, hey, you got free shipping in your cart. Here's the button to click out or check out. And in the store standard order, you would just leave that part out of the email. But basically, they're both the exact same. The first email is again going to be your most profitable email. So that's all the people that just got distracted or left the website for whatever reason. That's going to get a lot of people back and buying. Now, if they haven't bought after that first email, that's when you want to start bringing in some risk reversals, guarantees, social proof as well. And like I just said, on this side, you want to be reminding them of free shipping. Now, if they still haven't bought up to this point, that's when you want to start pointing out like a discount code or something along those lines, just as an extra incentive, just to get them across the actual line, and just make it seem like that discount code is for them and them only. That personal touch goes a long way. And like every discount code, we want to be following up, usually with a plain text email from the founder, just reminding them about that. And some key strategies here, actually showing the abandoned cart items at the top of the email. Make sure it's high above the very top of the email so customers can see it. They can kind of get reminded of, oh yeah, hey, that's what I was purchasing. That's what I was shopping for. That's going to do like 80% of the job of actually getting customers back and completing their purchase. And actually showing some social proof specifically about like delivery times and the quality of the product is super important as well. When you got that third, fourth email here, showcasing some of that off. Moving on to version 2. So this is the other version of the abandoned checkout / cart that you can do. This is what I would recommend for stores that are really like one product stores or 1 to 2, 3 product stores that really have like specific features, benefits, and that really solves like a pain point that customers have or your target market really has. Again, we're trying to get people back to the checkout here and handling all objections. So the difference with this flow is very similar, except we're just splitting people based on product or major collection. And you really want to hone in just on those features, benefits that your products actually solve for a specific pain point that your target market actually has. But very similar structure here. We're just splitting by product that they've left in their cart. And yeah, same key strategies like I just said. Here's some email examples. Right at the top, you want a nice catchy header. Your cart is waiting, but your new fit can't. And like I said before, you want to have your abandoned product shown above the fold, and ideally same with the actual call to action button. So you can easily just open up that email and click and back to the checkout page as frictionless as possible. This is what I would say is the second or third email that you've been sending, because we're showing off some social proof as well. As you can see with this review here, we're talking about how fast the shipping is. And in the second email here, we're talking about how good is the actual quality of the product, like awesome value from the merch and gear from the gym. We'll definitely be purchasing again. That's kind of what you want to be targeting and showing off in these reviews or any social proof that you may have. And here's some like guarantees, risk reversals, free shipping. You can also do like same day postage and anything like that you've got on your website. And another big thing that you really want to be making sure of is having a contact us button really accessible on that email, usually at the very bottom, just in case someone's having trouble. Maybe if you're a clothing store, someone's having trouble finding the correct size, or they're not really sure. So maybe something's just going wrong. You can actually save a lot of customer frustration just by adding this at the bottom of the email than having the customer, search up your website and then try and find the contact us page. Again, they're just going to become more angry if they really have a problem or something's messed up. You want something really easy just at the bottom of the email there. Here's some more examples. Again, just some nice, catchy, short phrase header. Still thinking on it. Trust me, you'll love them. Just the dynamic block here, and even showcasing some other things they can add to cart. And with this email right here, another good example. Big, bold, catchy header. Showcase off some other bonuses and a lot of social proof here, which is really great. And yeah, the only thing that they're really missing is just that nice big button at the bottom. So in case they scroll all the way down, they can just hit that. Moving on. This is an actual tutorial on how to enable the add to cart tracking for Shopify. So like I was saying before, you have those two different flows, the abandoned cart, the abandoned checkout. For the abandoned cart, you need to enable the metric for when people actually add something to cart, and that will require you pasting in a snippet of code for Klaviyo to actually track that and actually track customers that are cookied and subscribe to your email list. This Loom video right here goes through and shows you this, exactly how to set this up. But of course, if you're still having trouble with it, you can email me at kieran@compoundflows.com to view this video and how to actually do it. Again, like I said, this document will be in the description of this YouTube video, where you'll be able to find this and view this at your own time. Going on to retention flows. So biggest one is obviously going to be a post-purchase flow. Purpose of this is just to send like custom thank you emails for your first time, second time, third time, and so on. People, again, just adds that personal touch, builds that customer to brand relationship and brand loyalty, most importantly. This is also a really good time to promote your social media and even upsell customers onto a second item, second purchase. So just going through the flow structure here. Obviously, if someone's canceled their order after just placing one, you want to keep those people out of the flow. But this is where you kind of like segment and split up customers based on how many times they've ordered, so you can send that custom thank you email. So yeah, that first email is usually just a big thank you just from the team. Your second email, especially for first-time customers, again, this is dependent on your store and what you're selling, but you can send a really great email on how to use that product or best use cases. Just build hype, build excitement while they're waiting for the order. And you really want to time it really good here to actually send a social media promotion email just before they receive their order. Fully utilize your email list and actually get people to follow you on these other social media platforms and grow your social media following to keep everyone just in the loop, receiving your emails, and then showing up on their Facebook, Instagram feed as well, even TikTok as well. But it's really important just to get this sent to them before their expected delivery time, because in this time they're going to be opening up every single email of ours, just any update on their order. So the engagement of your emails is going to be super high. And when I've tested this, when I've put this in to some of our clients' flows, the click rate is always usually really high. And this does work really, really well. With the first thank you emails, you can always do like a light upsell, like add this to your order or see what you missed, and just clearly acknowledge that like, hey, this is their second, third time coming back, and just give like an extra big thank you, things like that. So here's the email example. Again, really simple, short little message from the team, customized if it's their first time or second time. Here we've just included just the social media promotion. And again, similar to the abandoned cart or abandoned checkout, if they did have something wrong with their order, or if they quickly need something changed, or they ordered the wrong size, especially, just adding a super easy, accessible contact support button down here is going to save a lot of customer frustration. And yeah, just always just add that. And again, we just put the shop by collection block here, just in case they did want to go back and order something else. So moving on, customer Winback flow. So the purpose of this is for any past customers that's already bought before. Those customers are going to be more likely to buy again, especially if they loved your product. So if they haven't bought again X amount of time, you really want to be trying and engaging these customers again to actually come back and make another second, third time purchase. So moving on, the flow structure here is really, can be really simple or a bit complicated. This is what we personally do. Again, 80-day delay, that's a variable you need to figure out on your own for your own brand. but it's usually after someone places an order and hasn't ordered again in that same time frame as the first delay. But on this flow, we like to split up customers based on what collection they last ordered from. So in this first email, when we reach back out to them, we can actually mention that and personalize that just extra a little bit more. And really what we want to be doing here in this first email is just encouraging them to come back and see what's new, see what they've missed, see all the new products you've added in the meantime when they haven't came back onto the website. Second email, you want to be offering out a discount code and really incentivize them to come back and make a purchase. Again, you can do this from the founder in a text-based email. And again, same thing, you want to follow up with that discount code. Just give them a warning, hey, you only got 24 hours left. Use this now. Key strategies here, again, like you said, we want to segment them down on what collection they actually last ordered from, and angle emails like come back and see what's new to actually create that FOMO effect and get them back onto the website. And you want to promote like complementary products as well. So especially when you're segmenting by collection, if there's another collection that goes with it, so let's say they bought from the bags collection. If you got another collection for dresses, you want to be showcasing dresses in that email as well. Again, just to spark interest, spark customers coming back to the website. Here's a really good example. Come back and see the latest. Just acknowledge that they've been a bit inactive and that they last bought from, this instance, the women's collection. Just show that we're taking notice of them. And yeah, just let them know that, there's new stock back and they should come back and check it out. Even add some social proof as well, just to remind them of how reputable, how credible your brand is, because it's been so long, they've probably forgotten. Here's actually a dynamic product block you can actually do inside of Klaviyo, where you can tweak it to actually showcase those complementary products. And again, it's always good just to add in your unique selling propositions, risk reversals, any guarantees. And always a shop now collection is really good to do. Okay, replenishment reminder flow. So this incentivizes customers to come back and reorder. So this is really good if you're like a beverage company or some type of consumable brand where people are going to run out and you want to just remind them to come back and reorder. What you want to be doing here is creating some urgency that they'll run out of stock if they don't order now and allow time for shipping. So that's kind of like the angle you want to be using here. The first delay on this email after someone places an order, again, it's going to be really custom to what you sell and what your expected date that the customer is actually going to run out of stock or run out of their whatever they bought. So that's something you really just got to figure out yourself. And same with the placed order times in the last X amount of days. That's kind of like the only flow filter you would really be adding here. Obviously, if they rebought again and they're restocked already, you don't want to be sending them this flow. But the first email is really just checking up with the customer, giving them a small nudge, like, how is it? How are you finding it? Is it time to restock? Second email, you want to start building that urgency, reminding them of guarantees, any risk reversals they have. Third email is last chance to order in time, so they allow time for the shipping. And by then, if they still haven't ordered yet, that's where you can start going a bit further in terms of actually just getting them to reorder no matter what. If there's a first-time customer, you can offer them a discount to reorder. Again, follow-up email. Or if they're a regular customer, maybe that something's happened. Maybe they had a bad experience, so you just want to ask them if everything is okay. And just some key strategies for this. Kind of like we said before, you want to send those first couple emails before they're expected to run out, so you can angle it as in, hey, order now before you deplete or run out of stock. And you want to, again, A/B test that first time delay super thoroughly, just see what's converting higher, because that's usually going to be the most profitable email in this flow. So here's some examples. Again, this is like a beverage company. Give them a light nudge for them to order again. Just acknowledge that, hey, they've already bought and they should buy now to avoid those shipping delays. And then you just want to go into showcasing your products again. For this brand in particular, what they did was actually send out a sample package, and then this is the email to actually upsell them and even get them a bigger box if they really, really liked it. Again, Shop Now collection. And here is another example. Hey, it's Scott here. Just want to let you know that your code is expiring. We don't usually give codes like this out to everyone. Again, personal touch. If you found a particular flavor that you loved more than others, go here and grab yourself a bigger pack. Or if you just loved everything, we offer another mixed pack. Really hope that we see you again and come back for a second round. So that's kind of like an example email where you would put in for this last chance, last ditch effort, plain text email from the founder. That those can work really well and just getting those customers over the line. Okay, so VIP flows. This is for your VIP customers when they actually enter and get triggered into the VIP segment. For this flow, you really want to be listing out the perks and rewards that they get for being a VIP, and even offering them a discount code or some type of reward to actually get them started and make them feel all special. So with this flow, you want to create a block here where it creates a custom property and actually tags them as a VIP. Usually we like to do anyone that orders over 3 times. But again, just depends on your store, how repurchasable your product is. Maybe you have a bunch of customers that's already ordered 3 times. So maybe your VIP customers are someone that's ordered 5 times instead of 3. Really just depends on your store, but 3 is usually a good thing to go by for most stores, we find. For this flow, we want to be congratulating them on actually becoming a VIP. That's when you list out all the perks and rewards they receive. Second email, again, we just like to do like a personal note from the founder, just congratulating them as well. Personal touch. Again, this is optional, but you can do like a VIP sale. You can add it like a long delay here and kind of just act like it's a normal campaign and just structure that email as if, yeah, it's like a normal campaign, normal sale that you already had set up. And just, again, another follow-up on that. And that's just kind of like an automated way just to get them to order again as a VIP. With some key strategies here, always make it abundantly clear that they're getting this offer because they are a VIP, and just make it so that it seems super exclusive just to them for being on the VIP list. But really the campaigns is where you build a true connection with these type of people, and you always want to be treating them like royalty because they do have a much higher chance to actually make a repurchase. So here's a email example. Again, we're just making it clear that because they are a VIP, they're getting this email and this offer. And this is where you list out some of the perks and rewards they receive. Birthday flow. So with this flow, it's very much a nice to have flow. This isn't one of the flows you'll be adding in straight away as one of your core flows. It's a very much a smaller flow that is a bit tricky to actually set up. So what I've done here again is crafted a Loom video here for you. So go into the description of this video, get this document and watch this. Basically what you need to do is enrich people with their birth date. So you can send and create this flow based on their birthday and send an email when their birthday actually comes around. So that's one part of setting up this flow. The second one is actually creating the birthday flow trigger. Again, slightly complicated, so I've just put a Loom video here showing you how to do it, and actually making it so that the flow is triggered based on their birth date. That's obviously different for nearly every customer. But the actual flow structure here, again, you want it to be sent when their birthday date is actually happening. And you want to just send a simple happy birthday message, make it super fun and engaging. Again, because it's a birthday, you probably want to give them a discount code to make a good excuse for them to buy something from us again. This is only going to be sent every year, so make it special, make it fun. Again, with every code, you want to be putting up a follow-up reminder. Some key strategies here. What you do want to do is avoid Friday and Saturday nights to send this email. That's probably when people are going to be partying or busy with their family. I will show you how to actually do this inside those Loom video tutorials. So make sure you get this doc in the description and check it out. Here's an example. Really nice, clear, concise copy. Let's celebrate you today. Hand them out a reward or anything like that, and a clear call to action button. Here's another example that I found that's really great. It's actually going off their star sign and actually gave them some picks depending on what star sign they are. Okay, so first, purchase anniversary flow. So this is to re-incentivize an order. Again, it's one of those nice to have flows. I wouldn't be adding this in straight away, but it is something to increase customer loyalty and make those customers feel noticed. Again, it's just a fun and engaging email that you can automatically send. So again, with the birthday flow, or like the birthday flow, this is going to be a bit complicated to set up. And you actually got to begin tagging customers when they make that first order. So when that year does come around, you can send this email to people. So this is something I would set up straight away if you're planning to actually build this flow out. But yeah, it's going to be a year until you actually see the results of this flow coming through once you actually start beginning and tagging customers with that date when they first make their order. So there is a small little flow here that you got to set up just to tag those customers. And once you do have that set up, I recommend just going into the Klaviyo templates section and making the trigger here first purchase. Again, that's all going to be explained in that Loom video that you can find down in the description. This is the flow structure. Very simple, just like the birthday flow. Just a short anniversary message saying and acknowledging that, hey, it's been a year. It's just like it was yesterday that they made their first purchase. And again, a follow-up email if you're doing a discount. Here is an example. Again, you just want to be giving out that discount code nice and clearly and a button back to the website. Moving on to the utility flows. So the first one here is the review request flow. Usually you can put these flows inside and create them from just an app in Shopify. If you want to do this inside of Klaviyo, well, the review apps really integrate with Klaviyo really well. So if you just want to see all the data and the statistics and the clicks all inside of Klaviyo, because sometimes those apps don't show that, this is how you do it. But of course, Klaviyo also does have their own review system and app natively inside of Klaviyo. So really what we want to be doing here is asking customers for reviews and actually incentivizing those customers with a bonus or reward. So again, small nudge, check in, ask for a review, incentivize that reward, follow up again. Some people are just busy, maybe they're on the go, maybe on their phone. You just want to send another follow up. Okay, is now a better time? And just further pushing that discount code. Key strategies here. We actually put an A/B test on this with a client, and putting a button that says write a review instead of just the graphics of 5 stars really makes a difference in terms of actually having those 5 stars being super more interactive. They actually show up the click rates a ton because people will be clicking on that thinking they're making a rating, but that's when they go into the actual website and fill it out properly. But if you just put a button that says write a review, that's a lot of friction to the average customer. No one really wants to go and write a review. That's why the 5 stars, just that interactive 5 stars, gets a lot higher click rate and a lot more people would actually just continuing on and writing out that review anyway. You want to be sending the first email for request. Hopefully, again, sometimes shipping times are a bit difficult to predict, but usually just a few days after they receive that product. So when they do write that review, they have a lot of those positive thoughts still in their mind. And again, like I said, you can integrate this with your review app. for better customization and keep it on brand. Sometimes these review apps, they're very limited on what images you can include and how it actually looks. So if you want to bring it over into Klaviyo, integrate it, again, you can see all the data in one place. You can customize it a bit better, just depending on what app you're using. But this is an example, just using the Klaviyo reviews. Very short message. You want to be showing off their product above, ideally at the top of the email, and using those 5-star to promote that click. Moving on to the review posted. So this is the other flow that goes hand in hand with the review request. We want to acknowledge customers based on their actual star rating and hand out that discount code that we originally offered, and just offer for any extra feedback, especially if they left a really bad review. So this is how you set it up. Again, the conditional splits here may be a bit different depending on what review app you use and if you're integrating this over. But just a simple email, just saying big thanks. Again, depending if they gave a 5-star or a 1 to 2-star review. Typically with the 5-star review, you just want to do a super big thank you, hand out the discount code. But if they only left 1 or 2 stars, you want to be like, hey, sorry you heard that. Do you have any extra feedback? Just reply to this email and let us know. But yeah, it's really important just to customize it based on what star rating they gave. And here is an example. Sorry for someone that actually left a big 5 stars. Tailor that message around that. And when you do give them out a discount code or whatever reward, obviously if they've just purchased, what you can do is give them an idea to use that, give that discount code to another family member or friend to use that instead. Seeing as they just purchased, they probably don't want to purchase again. And again, show them some review products that they can go on and look at with that discount code. Final flow here, guys, the sunset unengaged flow. So the purpose of this is to reactivate recipients who have stopped opening or engaging with our emails. And you want to make it super clear that these are the last emails they'll ever see if they don't open it. And you want to have some type of offer for them to come back and see what's new at the store. So it's almost kind of like a customer win-back, but the next level if they really haven't came back to the website in so long or just stopped opening up our emails completely. And the purpose of this flow, it kind of like automates the process a bit, where we'll tag customers as unengaged so we can manually suppress them at the end of each month. So to first create this flow, you need to first create an unengaged segmented list. We usually do anyone that hasn't opened, clicked, been on a website, or done anything regarding us in the last 120 days. So this is how you set up the segmented list, or at least how we set it up. And that's important because the trigger of this flow is when someone actually joins that segmented dynamic list. We want to send here 2 emails. We like to delay it to usually like a high peak engagement time for people opening up their emails, usually like anywhere between 11 a.m. or 3 p.m. On a Tuesday or a Thursday. And we like to do a plain text email here simply because of deliverability reasons. We want to have that email with the best chance to actually land in that person's primary inbox so they actually see it and open it. And again, it's just from the founder just asking like, hey, where have you been? Reply to this email if you're still interested. And again, a follow-up email, just, last-ditch effort before we actually tag them automatically as officially unengaged so we can suppress them at the end of the month. The flow filters here is if they haven't clicked or opened an email since starting this flow, where if they have, that's when they'll get kicked out of this flow and just be reactivated back into your engaged lists or newsletter in general. And just some key strategies here. Again, like you said, you want to be sending in plain text, HTML text to increase your chances of landing in the primary inbox. And you just kind of want to be like concerned with a helpful tone to your copy and try to send for the best chance of them opening and seeing that email. Here's a good example just below. like, hey, we haven't seen you around lately. We don't want to keep sending emails to your inbox if you aren't interested. Give them the option to actually unsubscribe themselves, but again, also give them the other option to come back and see what's new. And what we've said here is reply back to this email with yes to let us know you're here and want to stay on the list. That's going to actually increase email deliverability all around, which is great. And yeah, just give them those like two options, like, hey, if you're not interested, just unsubscribe. Or if you've just been busy, come back to the website and see what's new. That's kind of how you want to frame it. So some last overall tips now that we've gone through all of the flows. Big thing that you want to be doing here is actually turning off smart sending on every single flow in every email. Reason behind this, especially for your abandoned cart flows, just the nature of the flows, like we said at the start of the video, they're super intent based and they convert higher than just your average campaign. So you don't want your campaign emails to be blocking out, especially emails like the abandoned checkout email, because that has a lot higher chance for someone to come back and buy because they're already down that part of the funnel. They just need that extra step. So if you send some random campaign to them instead of the actual abandoned checkout email, they're going to be less likely to buy. Same goes with all the other flows. You just want to have this unchecked for pretty much every flow, unless you have a specific reason, because that is going to be canceling out emails if you have another campaign sending at the same time. Some other things, you want to be mindful you're only including evergreen product pictures in your design, not products out of stock. So that's obviously an issue with like things like clothing brands. Again, you're probably already on top of that. And you want to be triple checking your flow filters and making sure they're all correct and aren't too restrictive. A/B test time delays. So this is how you make a conditional split. As you can see here, you just make it part of a 50 random sample. So that's going to split customers evenly 50-50 to actually test what time delay converts better here. So as you can see here, this is the abandoned cart flow. And like I said before, the 30-minute delay always works better generally. Again, you want to test it store from store. But that's how you do a A/B test on time delays and the actual flow itself. Now, at the start of the video, I did say if you're an e-commerce brand doing a 50K per month, I do have a big offer for you. And that is actually building you out an entire flow for your store for free, as part of like a 2-week trial that we do with a few brands. Again, this is some examples that we've previously done. So it isn't some junky ass flow that isn't worth your time. We do put a lot of time in this using our best strategies and best practices. So you can see it increased in performance to what you've already got set up right now. So just to look at this process as an overview, to get started, obviously we need to jump on a call, just discuss it, see if we're even a fit, if we can actually do anything there. If so, we'll go through a free Klaviyo audit just to see if there's any other low-hanging fruit we can actually fix. Second call, we'll go over that audit. We'll go over the recommended flow we want to build out. That's going to give you the biggest return possible for this short little trial. Again, if all things are good, we'll temporarily onboard you into Slack so you have a chance to see how we operate, how we communicate with you, and all the above. And once the entire 2-week trial is done, you can actually decide whether or not you actually want to continue on with us. That should give you a good idea on how we operate, how we do things, and whether or not you actually want to go ahead with us long term. So again, to qualify, I know I said 50K per month, but even if you're doing a consistent 30K per month, more than happy for you to book in a call. And if you are an e-commerce brand looking to scale to new heights over the actual long term of things. So again, there's going to be a Calendly link below this video where you guys can actually book in a time and we can get started with this. So again, that's there if you are an e-commerce brand. But if not, thanks for watching, and yeah, cheers.